Welcome to the Movies to Watch Before You Die podcast. My name is Gab, and I am here with my cousin and co-host.
Dylan.
And today we are talking about a movie that I saw one time on TBS with commercial breaks with my dad in like 1994 that I don't really remember and was really excited to watch. And that movie is Jumpin' Jack Flash. Dylan, take it away,
Okay. Would you like me to talk about what this movie's about?
please.
What's this all been about? What am I working toward?
You think you know everything about me, don't you?
I dive at your bottom. I bloody well ought to.
Jumpin' Jack Flash is all about Whoopi, Whoopi Goldberg, to be specific.
Yeah.
And she puts bank transactions through on a computer because this movie is in 1986
84.
where computers were
New and sparkly.
computers
Whatever.
were like for people didn't just have the internet like you do on your telephone in front of you youngins who are listening to this. It was
Yeah.
just a special thing for bank people and for other
Yeah.
people with important enough jobs.
Yeah.
And she gets a random transmission, and it turns out she's now involved in espionage and hijinks ensue.
Basically, yeah. What does IMDb say? Did we miss something? Are we supposed to tell people something before we do this? No, right? They know.
We used to tell them why they listen to us, but now you're here.
Yeah, you're listening. Okay, tell it. So, all right. So that was Dylan's explanation. Now tell us what IMDb says.
The IMDb plot summary: an American computer whiz who works at a New York bank is suddenly thrust into the world of international espionage after she inadvertently receives a coded message from a British spy.
Cool.
That was a long
Now-
sentence.
Should I tell you what I thought this movie was about?
Oh, so you had no memory of this movie. Like, that was very funny hearing your introduction because I didn't realize you've seen this one time. Tell me what you thought
Yeah.
the movie was about.
As a child, I saw it one time on television with commercial breaks. I thought this movie was about Whoopi Goldberg falling in love with the computer. I didn't understand that she was talking to a person on the other side. I thought she was talking to the computer.
Obviously, there will be
Obviously, I didn't see the
spoilers.
last scene.
There is a person at the other end of the computer. But you know
Yeah.
what? Kind of more interested in that version of this.
I know. Me too. I was like, oh, damn it. That's not what I thought this was about. I also have a memory of Ted Danson being in this movie.
You know what? I'm guessing you missed him up with our guy who's revealed to be a spy at the end.
Yeah, Marty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we
Also,
dive,
they dated. You know what I mean? Like
did they?
yeah,
I did not remember that.
they dated. He went to her, I think it was her roast in blackface.
Yikes.
You didn't know that?
I didn't remember that.
Well, we really let Ted Danson off the hook with that. I mean, he went to Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, he was her date in full blackface. Google it, in full blackface. And obviously, like people, everybody was like, at least nowadays, are upset about it. But he's like still America's sweetheart. We really just let it go.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
good.
It ain't just a little bit.
Oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
I regret Googling this. This does not make you feel good about Ted Danson. I do.
Can
You know what? He is like he's kind of America's sweethearty type thing.
He
Like,
is. I mean, he's lovely. Listen, I'm sure that he like learned his lesson and apologized, and it happened early enough in our like social consciousness that it's sort of a forgotten thing. I mean, it happened pre-internet, for the most part.
it's just old enough that we didn't get pissed about it.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't know. I can't believe you didn't know. That's like a
I
very
totally forgot about
common,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very common fact. Ted Danson, not an asshole, right? You don't hear much bad about him.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
again,
he's
it's
still
probably
working.
just from roles you've seen him in, like Cheers, The Good Place, and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, but he was kind of a dick in Cheers, no?
I mean, like, he was a funny dick. He was very charismatic, though. He had the Riz.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But still, not like we're not talking about John Ritter. You know what I mean?
No, John. That's why I've talked about John Ritter on SVU before. That's why it's so
Right.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
But Ted Danson, I think people love him. I mean, Kristen Bell worked with him on The Good Place, and I think she like talked about how amazing he was. I think everybody loves him. People make mistakes.
Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard, I used to think were great, and I feel like the more they talk, the more I'm like, shut up. I liked you
Yeah.
better when you didn't say anything, like when you just
Sometimes
acted.
they get a little almost like too toward Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are another two that I was like, you were great until you started saying so much. Stop it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if these people didn't talk, I would like them so much more. Um,
Says
yeah,
two
they
people
can
who are
get a little
actively
annoying.
talking and putting it out to the world.
Yeah, exactly. We're here making people listen to us talk all the time. Okay, so anyway, I thought Whoopi Goldberg fell in love with the computer. I thought that Ted Danson was involved. I also thought it was like this is one of those things where I don't know if I have a memory of watching it as a kid or if I have a memory of having the memory. You know what I mean? Like it's gone now, but it's kind of lived in my consciousness for so long. And I mean, I remember when I was making a Facebook in what was it, early high school,
Mhm.
and it asks you what your favorite movies are. I wrote Jumpin' Jack Flash. Like I had never seen it again, but in my mind, I was like, oh, that's one of my favorite movies. And it was literally like watching it for the first time today.
I think that's so interesting. You never like tracked it down enough. Like if you thought you liked
No,
it so much, you never tracked it down.
nope.
Oh,
And you know what? Can I be honest with you? I'm not positive that it was the best decision I ever made.
is it
So
still
we'll
would it
see.
still be in your Facebook favorite movies?
Oh, well, that's why we're here, no?
That is why we're here. Do you want to hear
Okay.
some taglines?
Yeah.
A man called Jack has got her jumping, and the world may never be the same.
No, I think the world will absolutely be the same.
Yeah, the world is mostly unaffected.
Yeah.
Her office will never be the same.
Yeah, that office was
That
obliterated.
office is
But other than
fucked.
that, everything else is the same.
The next three are all very generic. An adventure and comedy.
Shut up.
It is a comedy with some adventure stuff, I guess. Sure. A dangerously funny movie.
That I don't necessarily agree with.
And this one was for the Halloween week release. She's jumping right out of the pumpkin.
That is dumb. All of those are dumb.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, listen, Dill, it's been a long day. I'm leaving for Miami tomorrow night, but I have to pack tonight. I've basically shoved 7 days worth of work into 2.5 days. I'm up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. I have to work all the way up until I go to the airport. My brain is fried. I have nothing left. Can you please give a little bit more context into what this movie is about? I into like my brain can't.
Well, hopefully Jumpin' Jack Flash brightened your day, but we'll find out more about that.
I,
So,
I watched it on Sunday. I don't know why I said today. I meant like the
uh,
current era.
so Whoopi plays Terry Doolittle. Terry is kind of the fixer around her office. She's the person who everyone goes to because she knows the most about everything.
But
And
she's very eccentric, and if she weren't so smart, she'd be fired for all like the bullshit she does.
yes, her boss literally says to her, if you weren't such an exceptional employee, you wouldn't be working here. Which, what are you going to do? It just feels like after that, it really is just one of those movies where you're like, hijinks ensue. Because she gets contacted from the computer, which there's not really an explanation of like why it's her that's contacted. It feels like it's just he reached out to someone, or is there an explanation that I'm forgetting?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's just she's fortunately or unfortunately on the other end from Jumpin' Jack Flash, like the Rolling Stones song, who needs her help.
Well,
And
and we should also, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we should also say that she is able to communicate with other bank people when she does transactions. So you're really supposed to just say like received or trans end, whatever, end trans, like ending the transaction. But she will go ahead and type to them and like knows their families and knows their gossip and like has relationships with people in China and other banks all over the place. And so it's not unusual for her to communicate with other people. It's just unusual that this is has nothing to do with any kind of current transaction.
yeah, and we find out that like he's been monitoring her messages because he knows about like the Yankee pot roast recipe she was sending. But basically, he's trapped in Eastern Europe. He's a spy, and he needs her to get a message to the British consulate after she can crack a code to be able to speak to him in a secure transmission. Whoopi cracks the code. They start speaking, and she goes to the British consulate. The British consulate asks like they don't know her. Um, After a while, she finally finds a way to get through to different people to sort of find out more of the truth that he works for British intelligence. She ends up dealing with people from the CIA. Um, by the end of it, she's been stuck with truth serum at one point, and then she's in a phone booth trying to call for help. And I believe it's the CIA, or is it the CIA, or is it the KGB that's trying to kidnap her.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either because they don't like, they're not like, they don't really care which one it is. They're like, it's not Jack, it's other people who are trying to stop her.
It's the bad guys. Yeah.
Yes. So she's in a phone booth. The phone booth is ripped out by a tow truck and dragged across, New York City streets. Um, and by the end of it, she says to Jack, she gets Jack the message to make him securely able to exit. And Jack agrees to meet her for dinner so they can finally meet face to face and he can thank her. Jack blows her off, which I was like, what? I was fed up
Yeah.
by this. That's too much opinion, Dylan. You'll get back to it later. And then we see the next day she's at work again. She's upset that she didn't hear from Jack. And Jack says something that lets her know he's there. Like he saw her drop her glasses or whatever it was. It's not her glasses because I don't think she wears glasses, but whatever. And he's there in the office. They leave together. His identity has been exposed to the entire office as a British intelligence agent. That doesn't really matter. It's a nice ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she does sort of fall in love with him over the course of this experience.
Well, it's very You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fall in love without seeing each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You really spared me.
Should we get to opinions, Gab?
Yes.
Okay.
In this critic's opinion,
That's just like your opinion, man.
Well, I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion.
All right. So my first opinion is that I would have liked it better if it were my version where she falls in love with the computer. I didn't
Touch my USB ports.
Yeah, exactly. I to me it got a little muddy in the like who's chasing her and which bad guy is this and why can't she, like some of the semantics got a little bit messy for me. But I did find that there were a couple of like laugh out loud moments. One of them being when she's in the phone booth.
The phone booth wasn't a laugh out loud moment, but it was one of those moments where I was like, ooh, this is cool. Like, you did not need to do this movie, and I find it really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I do feel the same way that it's like there's a lot going on in this movie that you did not explain well to me and you didn't seem to care to. Like she meets up with one of the agents at first who's supposed to be able to help get Jumpin' Jack Flash out of wherever he is, Mr. Van Meter. And Van Meter is played by the evil Dr. Nichols from The Fugitive. So I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
He is pretty quickly killed to show her like the stakes are real type thing. But I don't think, do we see who killed him and do we really know why?
I don't think so. And also, like, then he's the one that gets shot and is floating in the river, right?
Mhm.
And then she goes to the police and it's like, there's a body in the river. And they're like, okay, crazy lady. And like, they don't ever really investigate. And I'm like, that feels not real.
That was actually a moment I really liked, I think. I didn't like that specifically because it feels like at least be like, there's bodies in the river every day. This is New York type of thing. Like, at least do something like that. It's weird to just be like, I don't believe you. But I did like, she goes to the pier to meet Van Meter, and then she's telling them what happened, and the cop accuses her of being a prostitute, and she goes, every time you see a black woman, there has to be a pimp or a John. What do you think? There's a lot of work down on the pier for hookers? You think I'm giving blowjobs down there to goldfish? Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty funny.
That made me laugh. That was a good one.
Yeah, the movie really lives or dies on how much you've like Whoopi Goldberg, because I'm going to tell you a lot of people who are in the cast later, but this is pretty much exclusively a Whoopi Goldberg movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did think like young Whoopi Goldberg was almost like shocking to me because it's like, obviously, you know what Whoopi Goldberg looks like, but I don't think I've ever seen, besides the first time I saw this movie, I don't think I've ever seen her this young. Like, I was like, oh my God.
I think the earliest Whoopi Goldberg thing I'd ever seen before this was probably Sister Act.
I've never seen that, but yeah.
It's solid. It's very much like this, where, Whoopi's being Whoopi and then hijinks ensue. I'd say Sister Act is probably a little better written than this, but this gives, like, it feels like Whoopi is more just riffing in this movie at times, which works.
Yeah, yeah. Did she start as a comedian?
I think so. She started as a stand-up comic, yeah.
I think so too, yeah, because it does feel very ad-libby. Especially moments like that where she's just ranting and you kind of almost feel like it goes on a little bit too long because she's like, she hasn't gotten the best part out yet, but it's like hard to cut. So they just kind of leave in some of the fluff until she hits like that's the button, you know?
Yeah. Um, it's never the movie's not very long, so it's never like I was like, oh my God, this scene just needs to end. But there were a lot of times where I was like, this isn't really funny, but
Yeah.
I found myself liking Whoopi. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why I'm on a
Um
first name basis with Whoopi, that I'm not calling her Whoopi Goldberg, but
well, there's only one Whoopi.
that's true. It's not like if I was like Tom. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
you know who I'm
right.
talking
Yeah.
about when I say Whoopi.
Yeah. There's a big difference. Um John Lovitz, there's a scene, and this was not as much to do with the movie as it was with Corey, but John Lovitz plays the person that you and I are trying to describe, who is maybe the KGB or maybe
No, you're thinking of
um
Jim Belushi?
oh no, I'm sorry. I am thinking of John Lovitz. Maybe I am thinking of Jim Belushi. I don't
Because
remember.
John Lovitz
But
is her
I'll tell you.
coworker. Jim Belushi is the guy who tries to kill her.
Oh, you're right. I am thinking of Jim Belushi. I apologize. And I'm thinking of when he is disguised as the police officer and he is chasing down the phone booth that's being dragged.
Yeah.
And she winds up closing his arm in the window of the car. Like she's in the car, he reaches in through the window. She closes the window on his arm and gets out. And then the car starts rolling and he has to run holding the steering wheel with just his arm in the car. And Corey looked at me and went, "Watch your fingers."
He's in the movie too.
He is?
He's the cop.
Watch your fingers?
Yeah, it's Gary Marshall, Penny Marshall's brother.
Shut up. Did you know that, Corey? He can't hear you. He can't hear you. Um, that is so funny. I had no idea. But I
Yeah,
did see Gary Marshall and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Like the director of the Lindsay Lohan movie I love.
don't hit me with fish. Yes.
Yeah. Don't hit me with fish. Tell me that line hasn't stuck with you and will not stuck with you forever.
Only
Stick with you
because I'm
forever.
talking to you every week, Gab. I don't think like if I watched that movie by myself, I would never to another person say it. But it's like, you know what? I'm gonna say it to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Um, yeah, a couple of other things that I liked about this movie. Um, Whoopi, we there's a scene where she is wearing a sequin dress. She's at a ball, it's like the Queen's Ball or something at the British consulate. And she actually dresses, I want to say like Tina Turner.
I think at first it's supposed to look like Diana Ross, and after she's through the paper shredder, it's supposed to look like Tina Turner.
I got it. Okay. So she walks in either way and she's like, "Oh, I'm the entertainment." So she's like a Diana Ross like impersonator. Yeah, thank you. And I almost said karaoke star impersonator, which by the way, I thought it was a really, really cool choice that she's wearing a dress that has a little tape recorder glued to the side so she can play the music and lip sync to it as if she is the entertainment for the evening. And as an impersonator, and she clearly doesn't know the words to the song. Like she has like a close understanding of the words, but she's lip syncing them like a little delayed and a little inaccurately. And I thought that was such a cool decision to be like, you mostly know the words instead of just having her do it well.
Now that you have me thinking about it a lot, though, I wonder how on purpose that is, or if her timing just didn't match up with them putting the music in after the fact.
Oh, that's interesting. See, I thought how awesome that she like only had this dress. She only had this tape. It was like this is the best I can do to kind of piece it all together, and I'm not great at this.
I'm trying to think of another moment that like stood out to me. I do really like she has to sneak into a hairdresser to get information from like Lady Sarah, I think her name is, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a
Mm-hmm.
security guard for some reason in the salon. And he tries to stop her, and she's been hit with truth serum. She's gone through a lot already. And she grabs hold of him and says, "This is the face of a woman on the edge, Earl. I know my," and oh wait, it's Earl whose response. And he goes, "I know, my wife's got the same face." And he goes, she says, "You have to make a decision. Do you want to work here or do you want to live?" And that was pretty
so
good. The other moment that like, it wasn't that it was so funny. It was just, it like stood out to me because it was so out of nowhere where this movie turned into Carrot Top for a second. Marty, I think, is at her door, which he's the new coworker after her coworker goes on like maternity leave because she's super pregnant. And And Marty is filling in as the replacement who, spoiler, spoiler, we find out at the end, he's actually been another secret agent, which has he been there to make sure she's safe after this all started? But I guess he gets there right after it starts with the messages.
Yeah.
Okay. But Marty shows up and she pulls out, like, from behind a cupboard, a giant toothbrush. Not like
Yes.
not like a slightly oversized toothbrush. Like, it's like a 4 foot tall toothbrush that it's like, where did this come from? What?
Yeah.
Like,
That did
it
make
made
me
me
laugh.
laugh at the absurdity of it.
I did like that everything about her was quirky, from her apartment to her wardrobe to the things that she says. Like, it felt very authentic because it wasn't like, oh, here's Whoopi Goldberg, like being Whoopi, but as a normal person. And it didn't feel like here's this quirky character who looks and sounds normal. Like, it was everything about her was like totally crazy, where you're like, yeah, it's a good thing you're smart, because if you weren't smart, you would not be able to hold a job.
Yeah, and I did find the wardrobe really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think what else I got here. I'm like, Aretha Franklin does a cover of Jumpin' Jack Flash at the end, which is
Ooh,
very cool.
isn't it so good?
It is, and I don't think I'd ever heard it before.
Me neither, but it played and I was like, oh, I love this.
And Whoopi does a pretty good Mick Jagger impression at the beginning when she's trying to decipher the clues are in the song Jumpin' Jack Flash that she needs to figure out. Yeah, she does a pretty good Mick.
Yeah, I liked it. And I liked that scene where she's like, come on, Mick, speak English. Like, that really made me laugh.
And she's trying to figure out, she's naming a bunch of Mick Jagger's former girlfriends to try and figure out what could the clue be.
Yeah.
What does the clue end up being? It ends up being B
B
sharp?
flat. B flat.
B flat, you're right. Is the key.
It's the key of the
Because
song.
it's the key of the song. Which I never would have figured out, but I'm glad she did.
Well, she winds up having the sheet music.
Does she? Because I remember
Yeah.
her writing down the lyrics. I don't remember her having the sheet music.
I don't remember if she goes to like the library and finds the sheet music, or if she just happens to have it in her apartment, but she does open the sheet music and says, oh, because I think he kept saying like the key is the key or something like that. You know what I mean? Or like it's the key.
Well, no,
I don't
she
know.
says the key is the key when she gets it with the truth serum and the guy's going, what's the key? Because he's trying to figure out Jack's encryption or whatever. And she goes, the key is the key. And he's very confused.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have much more to opinion, to rant on about this movie.
Either.
I don't have any hot takes on Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Me neither. But I'll tell you what, I'm really excited to hear your verdict. So let's get through the facts.
I want the truth!
Face the facts, ducks.
Facts have no place with an organized religion.
On IMDb, this got a 5.9 out of 10. On the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter, it has a 30% with an average rating of 4.0 out of 10, 7 fresh reviews, and 16 rotten. An audience score of 58%, which that's a pretty big discrepancy.
Yeah.
With an average score of 3.5 out of 5. It had a budget of $18 million. It grossed $30 million, so, not terrible.
Yeah.
Reviews, let's see, we got Roger Ebert gave it 2 stars. Whoopi Goldberg is the only original or interesting thing about Jumpin' Jack Flash, and she tries, but she's not enough. Paul Attanasio from the Washington Post. It took 4 screenwriters, let's leave them with mercy anonymous, to come up with a story that has no real character conflict, and director Penny Marshall in her debut doesn't help them any. Shelley Maines from Sojourner. Goldberg and director Penny Marshall have managed to inject a female sensibility into the film, cramming it full of fun, insightful details. And
what other you're going to talk about it.
Okay. Alex Sandell from Juicy Cerebellum. Good concept, horrible movie.
Juicy Cerebellum? I'm going to describe somebody as that.
That's what Rotten Tomatoes said.
Okay.
I don't have like a ton of fun facts. I was looking through Letterboxd and there were some funny reviews, so I'm going to read those to you super fast.
Okay.
Patrick Sullivan. Costume designer Susan Becker from The Lost Boys, True Romance, and St. Elmo's Fire put her entire Jumpin' Jack Flussy into this. Needless to say, she absolutely freaked it. Rob Patrick. My friend said I would love this. My friend no longer is allowed to suggest things to me. Jin Jan. Where can I buy a giant toothbrush to help me fight off my enemies? Gil. Whoopi Goldberg is a menace to society, tripping on acid all over New York City.
That is true.
Kane. You got mail who? This is all I need. And last letterboxed one, Horned Grandma. It's like being at a party where everyone is doing cocaine except for you.
That's funny.
The movie was directed by Penny Marshall, who also directed Big, A League of Their Own, and Renaissance Man.
That's so crazy. So I was going to ask you, what else has Penny Marshall directed? Because obviously that name is familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But those are like home runs.
Yeah, and I would say those are her three biggest, but she acted a lot as well.
Okay, and Gary Marshall is her brother?
Yes.
And who are their parents that these Nepo babies had so many jobs?
Mr. and Mrs. Marshall.
Wow, amazing.
The screenplay was by David Franzoni, Charles Shire, Nancy Myers, and Chris Thompson, who also wrote Gladiator, Amistad, The Parent Trap, Father of the Bride 1 and 2, and Smokey and the Bandit.
Wow.
It stars Whoopi Goldberg, who you may or may not remember from The Little Rascals, Theodore Rex, and The Pagemaster, which she
You know what's
plays.
funny? Oh, sorry. Finish your sentence.
No, what's funny, Kev? How is it funny?
I feel like you don't know Whoopi Goldberg from really anything besides her being Whoopi Goldberg. Like Whoopi Goldberg never had, I guess Sister Act was like her.
Well, she was on Star Trek for a while too, I think.
Star Trek? No.
Yeah, she was on Star Trek the Next Generation, I think it is, the one with Patrick Stewart.
Do you think she never had eyebrows, or do you think that was a decision that she made and stuck with?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I've never realized she doesn't have eyebrows.
Are you kidding? What is the matter with you? Google this immediately. Are
I've
are
never
you
thought about her
joking?
eyebrows.
Look, that's like she's famous for that.
What do you mean that's her thing?
Yes.
Entertainment Tonight, Whoopi Goldberg explains why she doesn't have eyebrows.
If you write in why does it WHO, the first thing that comes up is Whoopi Goldberg have eyebrows.
One of the first things this says is if you never noticed that Whoopi Goldberg doesn't have eyebrows, don't feel bad. Even those working closely with her have never realized it.
That's not true. Ready? Goldberg proceeded to detail what happened to her eyebrows. I had eyebrows as a little kid, and you know how men get those bumps? I started to get them on my face, so my mother removed them. And so I just keep doing it because I don't know my face with eyebrows unless I'm working.
That's so weird. You know what? I feel like it'd be weird now to see her with eyebrows. So
I know.
I'm glad she does not have them.
No eyebrows. And you know what? It was a little alarming when she was dressed up as Tina Turner when she's got the wig on and all this makeup, but no eyebrows.
I never thought about it.
I'm so disappointed in you. You didn't know about Ted Danson and blackface, and you didn't know about Whoopi Goldberg not having eyebrows. Like, what else do you not know?
I feel like I know a lot of pop culture. Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg are probably two of my weaker spots, okay?
Yeah,
Cut me some
apparently.
slack.
I'm shocked. All right, keep going.
Stephen Collins from The First Wives Club as Marty, Seventh Heaven, and that episode of Law and Order SVU where he's the coffee magnate and his son gets killed right at the end.
Corey identified him as the guy from Seventh Heaven immediately.
That's what he's most known for. That and like pedophilia.
Pedophilia? Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
pedophilia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's no good now. You're not going to see him in anything coming soon. That's what I'd
right.
say.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done. Oh, he gone.
John Wood as the consulate guy whose name I can't remember from War Games, Lady Hawk, and Chocolat.
Okay.
And Carol Kane was one of the co-workers, the one who keeps sleeping with men. I should have written. I didn't write down the names.
Carol Kane. I was like, where do I know her from? Everything.
The things I wrote down, like the things that come to my mind, are Addams Family Values, When a Stranger Calls. But you're not a horror person, so you don't know that movie.
No.
And I did not know she was Bo Peep in all the Toy Story movies.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Also, why did you say it like that?
What?
All the Toy Story movies.
Fuck you.
Like, why do you do that? East Broadway. Like, say things normal.
This is how I talk, okay? It's
Oh,
gotten me this far.
I hate it. She's also from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Did you see that? Did you watch that?
I watched like the first season and I hated it.
Okay. You didn't like Pinot Noir, mid-sized car, Pinot Noir, candy bar, Pinot Noir. You don't know. Okay.
I blocked that out of my mind very quick because you know what? It wasn't that funny.
I know it really did make me laugh, but that was a long time ago.
It's one of those shows where it reminds me of Schitt's Creek, that it's very uplifting and everything's very nice, but at the end of the day, I'm like, it's not that funny. Although I like Schitt's Creek a lot more.
I did not care for Schitt's Creek. like this is like comedy light. This
I
is like
l-
this would be great if it were like on public television. You know what I mean? But
I like Schitt's Creek. We I wouldn't kick it out of bed if it was eating crackers, but it's not for me. You know what I mean?
did you just make that phrase up?
No, I don't remember where I got it from, but
That is it is not at all where I thought the sentence was going. It was like, oh yeah, of course. And then what?
yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating crackers. It's okay. It's fine. Like if
All
it was
right.
on TV, I wouldn't necessarily change the channel unless I knew something else really good was on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I much prefer The Office if we're going to talk about like
Oh, obviously.
30 minute, binge watch worthy shows.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, that's not why we're here. Um, yeah. Also Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen with Lindsay Lohan.
Never seen it.
Yeah, it's a good one. I won't make you watch it because I know it's bad, but that's
Okay.
it. Okay. Go ahead.
The movie also has, I'm gonna shorten these up. Roscoe Lee Brown, John Lovitz, Phil Hartman. Um, you have cameos from Michael McKean and Tracy Ullman as the couple that Terry takes the
Yeah.
date at the ball.
Michael McKean. Corey was like, that's the guy from Best in Show.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah.
I don't know why I feel the need to point this one out, but Miguel Nunez as one of the street toughs who you may remember him as Joanna Man, but I also just always think of him from Friday the 13th, A New Beginning as the character Demon, who can't stop shitting because of those damn enchiladas and gets killed by Jason when he's in the outhouse.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Sounds like a movie I would enjoy.
It also has Annie Potts, and I think that's everyone. Let's get to the fun facts.
Okay.
Penny Marshall's first film she ever directed.
Oh, such a fun fact.
Are you having fun yet? The original version of the script was supposed to have Shelley Long from Cheers as the star.
Oh, interesting.
Can I expect it, Ted Dancy?
Weird, yeah, strange left turn.
Yeah. The original title was Knock Knock,
Wow. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, that's what he types on the computer.
and another alternate title was Sweet Dreams.
That one I don't love, but okay.
Yeah. The phone booth sequence was part of a reshoot in Los Angeles. Jim Belushi, whose character was originally set to appear in 2 scenes and die in a car accident in the second, was brought back covered in bandages to explain how he escaped death, which it's an R-rated movie. We don't need to see him again. I was never worried about Jim Belushi
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah, same.
It's also, though, I did find myself thinking, this didn't need to be R-rated. Like, she's throwing out, motherfuckers or whatever, and I'm like, if you cut down the curses, there's nothing really, like, it's not a very violent movie or anything like that.
I agree. I felt like the cursing was a little gratuitous, and I would have been just as happy if she did. Like, it almost felt out of place. Like, holy shit, did she just drop an F-bomb?
Yeah, sometimes it felt like she was just trying to think of something and just used a curse word as a filler word. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Burt Reynolds was originally slated to direct the movie, but left after a falling out with producer Joel Silver.
Burt Reynolds directed shit?
Yeah, I didn't really know that. Do you want to know why they had a falling out?
I do. He slept with his wife.
No, no, this wasn't a trivia question for you to guess.
Oh. That was just
Burt Reynolds had lost a bunch of weight because he was suffering from a rare disease called TMJ, which I did not find out what it stands for. It caused
TMJ. That's wait, I know what TMJ is. That's when you clench your jaw and you have like you have damage to your teeth and your jaw from clenching.
really
Look it up, bitch. Yeah, my mom has it.
temporomandibular joint dysfunction. Yeah.
Haha.
The joint acts like a sliding hinge connecting your jawbone to your skull. Dysfunction can lead to pain and discomfort. But apparently he lost a bunch of weight due to dealing with that, and he was under 140 pounds, and apparently Joel Silver believed a rumor that Burt Reynolds had AIDS and would not, it led to them having a falling out.
Yeah, God forbid. You can't talk to people with AIDS still, and you can get it through the air like COVID and
Yeah,
toilet seats.
That's clearly very 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
You normally don't see that on those I love the 80s or that's so 80s shows.
Yeah, it's true. They don't talk about that much. The
I
nostalgia.
wonder why. It seems like a fun subject.
Yeah.
Moving on. The apartment decor gives us clues to Terry's obsession with romance and adventure, with posters scattered around for films like Metropolis, The Maltese Falcon, Casablanca, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, and Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Sure.
Gary Marshall cameos as the policeman, and Penny Marshall's daughter, Tracy Reiner, is the boss's assistant.
Oh, cute.
And obviously she has the last name Reiner because it was Penny Marshall and Rob Reiner's daughter.
Rob
Billie,
Reiner, where do I know him from?
he's a major director of like This is Spinal Tap, The Princess Bride.
Yes,
We
yes,
did
yes.
one
We
of his
talked about
movies
him
very
already.
recently, and I'm like, which
Yeah,
movie was it?
yeah.
North.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you would think with all that nepotism power, she'd be a big name. But maybe she doesn't work in film.
Yeah, maybe she said fuck it.
And according to Whoopi Goldberg, at one point, 18 writers had worked on the script,
Yikes.
which it makes sense because it's not like the script ain't great.
It's not cohesive
Yeah.
in a great way. Yeah.
Yeah, the script's not that great, but you know what it is great? Our mail segment.
And also me.
Mail time! When you control the mail, you control information.
Mom asked me to ask you if there's any mail for us here by mistake.
What?
A few comments and a few well, no, I was gonna say a few emails. That's a lie. We have one email, but we have a few comments. So let's start with the comments. We have comments on our Leo and Kate Winslet shipping short.
Thank God.
Rich Davidson said, happy they found each other.
But have they found each other?
They found each other, but they're like opposite pole magnets where they can be next to each other, but they can never touch.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, I don't really care. Did he get Oscar nominations were today? Did he get nominated? I don't think so.
I have no idea, but I know everybody's upset about Ryan Gosling, which I have thoughts on.
They're upset that he did get nominated?
They're upset that he got nominated, but Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig did not.
See, and I just think, having watched that movie, all three of them should have been. That's my feeling.
I agree, but I don't think like I feel like we're doing a little too much in the taking away from Ryan Gosling. He was amazing. And yes, I understand how ironic that this movie was about the patriarchy and only the man got nominated, but I don't think that I think we're just really doing Ryan Gosling's performance a disservice by saying like, oh, of course he was not. It's like, well, he did a really great job. Why can't we be upset that the other two weren't nominated without being like, oh, of course he was not? And that's coming from a feminist.
Yeah, I do feel like the moment that nominations were out, I was thinking not, oh, Ryan Gosling shouldn't have been nominated. I was thinking, oh, Greta Gerwig should have been. I don't feel like I saw a lot of the big Oscar nominated movies this year, but it does feel weird. It feels like the non-contrarian, like the not the non-contrarian, the contrarian move to be like Barbie and Oppenheimer are the two biggest movies of the year. Yeah. So it feels weird now that they're like, yeah, Barbie was great, but maybe we're not going to nominate for Best Director. It's like, no, come on. It deserves the nomination. It reminds me of Avatar being nominated in, what was it, 2009 for Best Picture and Best Director and like not winning anything. And I'm like, it was the most successful movie of all time at the time now.
Yeah,
Kind of seems weird to be like, yeah, but you know what? The Hurt Locker's better. Because nothing against the Hurt Locker. I don't think it's nearly as memorable culturally as Avatar is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, I just think that Ryan was really good, and as much as it is a shame that those other two weren't nominated, we can't use that against him.
Yes. The bigger shame on Oscar night will be when that Billie Eilish song wins and not I'm Just Ken.
Yeah, agreed. Fully.
Suzanne Koval said they are best friends that love and support each other. What is wrong with that? I don't think nothing's wrong with that.
Nothing is wrong with that. I just think they're perfect for each other.
Nothing's wrong with that. Gab just is metaphorically doing that thing where when you're a child and you take two dolls and you smush them together, like they should be doing this though, like kisses.
Yeah, but also this is not a hot take. This is a very universal feeling amongst a lot of people.
Apparently not, because SG's comment on it was just no.
Okay, SG.
And Joel Riley's comment was he's a pimp.
Okay.
Yeah. And now we have a couple comments that were on the actual podcast. So first from Lanola Cola. This is not going to make sense to you because it is spoofing a little bit of what Jordan does on the Jump on the Bandwagon podcast, but do. Welcome to YCN YouTube comment news, and that is as far as I'll go for copying Jordan's bit from Jump on the Bandwagon's podcast mail comment section. Hang on, I can still do this. And now over to the music. Can you think of a film that John Williams worked where the score wasn't good? Never apologize for picking a potential movie to watch before you die or for loving your fandom. A John Williams movie where the music wasn't good?
Indiana Jones.
Get the fuck out of here. You could say you didn't like the movie, but that music is so iconic.
Oh, no. I thought I don't it was the question the music was bad or the movie was bad.
Ooh, oh god, we were about to throw down. I'm like, you can have
No,
your
I
opinion
love
about
I
the
mean
movie, but I was like,
I
but
love
don't you
that
say that
song.
about the
No, the
music.
music is incredible. I
Okay.
thought the question was, is there a movie where the movie itself was bad, not where the music was bad?
Can you think of a film that John Williams worked where the score wasn't good?
Okay, I apologize. No
Okay.
is my answer.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He got nominated for another Academy Award today for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which it feels like it's just like, did he do a movie this year? Nominate him. But like,
Yeah. At some point, he's got to be like, "Ugh, the Oscars again. How boring."
he extended 2 records this year. Both were already his. The record for being the oldest person nominated for an Oscar and the record for most Oscar nominations, because I think he's been nominated for like 54.
Wow.
Although if you think about it, he's been nominated for 54 and he's only won like 6 or 7 or something like that. So if you think about it, his success rate is so low.
Yeah, he's basically a loser.
Yeah, what a loser.
Yeah. Oh my
Uh,
God.
one last comment from Scotty Cameron. I love that we got Jordan doing his little musical minute for a movie where John Williams has composed the score. He has quite a grasp on what makes the scores of films work so well. The funny thing about that song game that Zach likes to play is that back in high school, I made a playlist of songs that were not covers of songs, but different songs with the same names. So songs like In the End by Linkin Park and In the End by Green Day were on the back-to-back playlist.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of, can I think of songs that have the same name? I cannot.
That's a hard thing to do on the spot. I'll
It is a
say
hard thing to
this.
do on the
I
spot.
had a dream. I took a nap today. You want to hear something crazy? I took a nap today at like 9:30 a.m.
Oh my God.
And I
You
know.
wake up too early if you're taking naps at 9:30.
I really do. So during my nap, I had a dream about this podcast that we were doing like threaded episodes where it was like, okay, we did Catch Me If You Can starring Leonardo DiCaprio. So the next movie is going to be a different Leonardo DiCaprio movie. And that one had Kate Winslet in it. So after that, we're going to do another Kate Winslet movie. And we basically just kept that thread going until we had to stop and start a new thread. And I actually kind of think that idea is pretty cool.
Well, that's literally the movie game we used to play, where it was like, name a movie, name an
Mhm.
actor in that movie, name
Yep,
a different movie with that actor, name a different actor in that movie, and like you just keep going until you can't anymore.
exactly.
Yeah.
Something to think about,
Perhaps.
perhaps.
But for now, let's think about this email that we received.
Okay, read it
Okay.
to me.
We got an email from James from the Watchtower database.
Hi.
Hey, Gab and Dylan. I said Gab's name first.
Mhm.
In the Catch Me If You Can episode, the Rotary Club was brought up, and neither of you had heard of it. My grandparents on my mom's side were both in Rotary Club, so I grew up going to occasional meetings. It was pretty boring for a little kid, and I didn't quite understand what was even happening or why, and I still don't really today. So it sounds like you know the Rotary Club as well as us. I think they fundraise and donate money to local causes or something like that. The food was good at the meetings. I don't know. I never even made the connection until listening to you guys, but their logo is totally a big Rotary gear. I always just thought it was a random cool design, but then again, I am stupid.
That is so funny.
Gab also randomly asked if Dylan remembered The Pebble and the Penguin, and he did not. So I just like to say I watched it for the first time in college, but it was a childhood favorite of my wife's and one of my best friends. I didn't care for it, and it turned out to be not as good as my wife and friend remembered it being, which just makes me even more afraid to rewatch We're Back, A Dinosaur Story with John Goodman as a T-Rex, because I loved it as a kid, but fear it is actually awful. I'm going
Oh
to try and
boy.
get Brian to watch it, but who knows how long it'll be until that happens. That feels like it's a Mandela effect. Like I don't even remember. I feel like I know that that's a thing, but I don't remember it actually being a thing.
The Penguin and the Pebble or the T-Rex?
The T-Rex.
Oh, I remember on the Harriet the Spy VHS, there was a preview for a movie about a family of dinosaurs, but it was like the dad, the mom, and it was clearly like humans in big puffy costumes, but they were like a little like animatronic looking, and there was like a little baby dinosaur that was in like a half eggshell, but they were like humans. They drove like human cars.
There's a dinosaur TV show like that I remember. And I remember the show ends with like them about to go extinct.
Let me
What a
Google
fucked up
this.
ending that is for your show.
Harriet the Spy VHS previews.
Oh boy, wow. If this is the way you find it out, I'll be impressed.
Oh man. Okay, hold on. There's a okay. Um oh shit. It literally has it. Hold on, I'm gonna read it to you. Rugrats video trailer, Paramount Family Favorites trailer, Magic in the Mirror. I remember that. Paramount feature full screen disclaimer, Harriet the Spy. Um, maybe it was Magic in the Mirror Foul Play that I'm thinking of. Let me Google this.
I feel like it's the dinosaur TV show, which I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Um, hold
Yeah,
on,
there's
I'm
literally a
looking at
TV show
this.
called Dinosaurs,
But
and where the people are
oh,
in like big suits.
hold on. Sorry, the YouTube started playing a song in my ear. Hold on. Um,
You got to Google Dinosaurs TV show.
okay, but also this is bringing me. Oh, they were ducks. They were ducks. I'm gonna send you this video. You have to look at it live as we do this. I'm texting it to you right now.
I'm gonna cut
It
around this
was
so hard.
Magic in the Mirror Foul Play, FOWL, and they were giant ducks. That's what I'm thinking of. I do remember the dinosaur TV show, but this is the preview that has been, I've thought about this like once a month for years.
This is taking up space in your brain?
Oh yeah. Wow.
I have no memory of this.
Yes, you do.
You know what movie did come back to me that I'm like, oh, we watched that together? Indian in the Cupboard.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that, how that movie would not go well today, but I loved that movie.
That
That was
movie
one
was
of
a
my
pop.
faves. Omri was the boy's name.
I do
Are
not
you
remember that.
seeing the foul play?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm
You
looking
don't
at
remember
the
this?
people in the big suits. No, I have no memory of this, and it looks awful.
Yeah.
I have a little more here from James.
Okay.
How in the world has Gab never heard the phrase blah 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 to Electric Boogaloo? That's like American Vernacular 101. Minus 12 points for Gabendor.
That is hilarious. Gavendor. Wow, I'm keeping that.
If I had a soundboard like James has, I would want that. I would want a recording of James's voice saying that, so I could just hit you with that every time I hate your opinions.
I'm so glad you don't.
Aw.
Oh my God. We did 125 GHD sit-ups yesterday, which is basically like imagine like dangling off the back of the couch and touching the floor and having to sit up and touch your feet 125 times.
I
So
can't
when I
even
got out of
imagine that.
I got out of bed this morning and I was like, oh, my abs. And Corey went, your gabdominals.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb that I love it. Oh no.
There's been a lot today. It's good. Anyway.
Okay. But to redeem herself, I love y'all's coverage of The Jerk because, like Gab, my family quotes that movie constantly. Great lines such as, he hates these cans, or, and that's all I need, can be heard echoing throughout the halls of the Strucker households on a weekly basis. A very good,
I love that.
classic movie, and I was happy to hear that it makes Gab's all-time favorite list as well.
Did you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay.
The only
good.
person who did not agree was Pedro.
Right. I love that movie.
And he signed off his email. Keep it James. James.
That's great.
P.S. I just finished the Christmas Vacation episode, and in the mail segment, some sort of Scotty Cameron type had sent in a video clip of the ending of the first Saw movie and apparently posed as me. I have no idea what that is. I did not make it. Don't blame me for your wasted 2 minutes. I couldn't even see it, but I can bet whatever you were looking at, I would have edited it better had it been me. Take that. Quite frankly, he definitely would have. I've seen enough of his stuff. I was like, what did James take 30 seconds to waste my time? Sorry to whoever sent that in now. I have mocked your
I don't
skills.
even remember.
All right. Well, we're talking about Whoopi. Let's make some Whoopi.
Ew.
No, I regret that. Let's talk some Whoopi. I regret that. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg. Ted Danson? Help me end this. Oh God. Let's go back to Whoopi. That's
eyebrows.
better.
Eyebrows. I've been thinking about getting my eyebrows microbladed.
Can I tell you, I brought that up to somebody else. I was like, did you know Whoopi Goldberg doesn't have eyebrows? And they're like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm spreading that
didn't
around now. No, people don't think about that.
Corey, sorry, you're not Corey. Dylan. Everybody knows that.
Apparently not. The only other person I mentioned it to was like, what do you mean Whoopi Goldberg doesn't have eyebrows?
I'm going to text my group chat. Raise your hand if you know.
Raise your brows
Whoopi-
if you know Whoopi Goldberg doesn't have it.
Raise your hand if you know Whoopi Goldberg doesn't have eyebrows. Let's see how many people respond. There's only 3 people in this group chat besides me, but we'll see.
Eugene Levy could give her some.
Levy.
Levy, Levy, whatever. Always
Kendall,
correcting
I
me.
didn't know.
Bam.
Thumbs down.
All right. Now let's talk about Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh shit, this is still part of the episode? All right, yep, let's get to it.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The guilty will be punished.
Sentence is death.
Gab, since this is your movie, you should go first, right?
All right. Well, I struggle with this because I did have such high hopes because it really did feel like one of my favorite movies. I had such a fondness from, childhood memories of loving it. Um, I'm gonna say it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it definitely didn't live up to its expectation. And at some point, I like had a hard time paying attention because I was like, this is like kind of crazy. At the end of the day, I like it. I don't think I would turn it off if it were on television and I didn't have anything better to watch, much like you say about Schitt's Creek.
Would you kick Jumpin' Jack Flash out of bed for eating crackers?
I mean, I would kick anybody out of bed for eating crackers. That is a no-go in my
That's a
world.
deal breaker. Okay.
Yeah, that is a big no. So that's hard to say. Um, I want to like it. I like Whoopi. I think it was fine. But and you're sort of making me think that maybe you liked it more than you did. So part of me is like, I hope that maybe at least you liked it, but I don't think I would be able to, in good conscience, put it on my list. No.
I'm not fucking with you. I did have a fun time watching it, and it's interesting because I said to myself at the end, I didn't really laugh at any part of this, but I had a fun time watching it. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny that we ended up talking about Schitt's Creek so much and things like that because I enjoyed it the whole time. But as a comedy, is it really funny? No. As like an adventure spy movie, is it thrilling? Not really.
Yeah.
But it's really just Whoopi Goldberg is really good in the movie. Like, you really like Terry, and that really just speaks to Whoopi Goldberg as an actress and as a character that she did a good job.
Yeah.
I probably won't watch it
would
again.
it would be so crazy if for the first time the host who picked the movie said no and the other host said yes. So what do you have to say for yourself?
I was kind of right there for a bit where I was like really thinking hard about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no, but it's not a hard like fuck you no.
It's not the worst movie you've ever seen.
To go back to it, I would not kick this out of bed for eating crackers either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'm satisfied with that.
I think I liked it more than you did.
I think so. In fairness, I did feel I was let down simply by virtue of the fact that I expected something different.
You know what felt really weird to me too? I probably should have brought this up in opinion time. After she hears his voice she goes to his apartment and on his voicemail, she hears his voice. And then every time she's talking to him on the computer, you hear him saying what he types. And I was like, I liked it better when you can't hear him because this is weird.
Oh, interesting. It was easier to fall to understand how she fell in love with him when you heard his voice.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Would you be happy with Jack at the end, or would you be like, oh, okay.
It was really funny because Corey and I both had the same reaction where we were like, oh, that's him. Like we were like, that's all right, I guess. Like it was a little bit of like, that's the actor they chose. And also like, that's the guy she's running off with. But it did make more sense that he would have been interested in Whoopi Goldberg. Like if he were a 10 and she didn't have any eyebrows, it would be like, this doesn't make any sense.
I guess you could say the film's not very highbrow. Yeah, Jack like has this very eloquent voice, and at the end you realize it's the guy Jonathan Pryce from Pirates of the Caribbean. God, were you okay?
That was so fucking stupid. I can't believe you said that. Damn it, I should have come up with that one. It's been such a long day, Dylan.
But Jonathan Pryce, who plays Jack and is the voice of Jack, is from Pirates of the Caribbean, and he was the High Sparrow in Game of Thrones and stuff.
That's him?
Yeah.
No.
It's weird to see him this young.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Corey, if you can hear me, come in here. Oh, he hears me. I'm shook because actually that makes him like better looking in context.
You didn't connect it?
No. So you remember how at the end of the movie when Jack is revealed and we both went, ugh, we were like, that's him. You know who that was? The High Sparrow from Game of Thrones. Oh, his reaction was much more mild than mine. Which he said, I hated that fucking guy. Which one, the High Sparrow or Jumpin' Jack Flash? The High Sparrow? Yeah. He likes Jumpin' Jack Flash. Would you call it a movie to watch before you die? No, he said no.
Like
he could live without it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it with Giselle, and I am in no rush to be like, you gotta see it. And the fact that I had to like go through various internet means to find this movie, I was like, this probably isn't worth that trouble even.
Yeah.
But if you, for
Part
some
of
reason,
me-
already have this movie in your hand, you can watch it.
Yeah. If it's of no disruption to your regular life, feel free to watch it, but you don't need to.
If you're on TBS watching this with your dad, continue.
Yeah. Don't walk away yet. Oh, I was gonna say something to you and I totally forgot what it was, but I was gonna say that I was so unimpressed by this movie that after the long day I had, I thought about saying to you, it's honestly not even worth doing an episode on. Like, it's fine. We can just pretend. But then I was like, we both suffered through it. We should probably talk about it. I'm not going to make you watch it for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of not worth doing an episode on. It's one of those movies that if you've seen it, I feel like you'd be like, no, it's not a movie to watch before you die, before you even played the episode. And you know what? You were right.
Although, you know what's really crazy? All of my classes at this one gym that I teach at are always curious to know, like, what movie did you watch this week? What movie's coming up? I don't think any of them listen to the podcast, but they just want like the brief rundown. So I said, oh, it's this really like esoteric movie called Jumpin' Jack Flash. And one of my favorite clients goes, I love that movie. And I was like, oh, what?
And
apparently,
that's
if
that
you
movie
were
where
at the
Whoopi
right place
falls
at
in
the
love
right
with the
time in the
computer.
80s. I said, that's what I remember it being. And the guy was like, I don't really remember what it's about, but I know there's a computer. Oh my God. All right, listen, I have to go. This was great.
All right. You can email us at movies@gmail.com, send a voice message at anchor.fm/movies to watch. Find us on the Hall of Pods podcasting network in the link tree below. Find our link tree below with links to all of our things. You can Venmo Gab in that link even. And
oh my God, you can?
Yeah, your Venmo's in there.
I had no idea my Venmo was in the link tree. Venmo, let's go. We're bringing that back. We're bringing it back. Venmo me.
Send Gab a Venmo if you want to kick her opinions out of bed for eating crackers.
Yes.
All right. I think that's it.
That was great. Do you have to stop recording or no?
I mean, I will, but I was just going to say like bye-bye to the people listening. So
Oh.
bye, people listening.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Call the police! You can't miss me. I'm a little black woman in a big silver box. On the top of